gotta grow your coins. Grow your coins, grow your coins. Grow your coins, you gotta grow your coins. Grow your coins, grow your coins. Grow your coins, grow your coins, you gotta grow your coins. Grow your coins, grow your coins.
Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome. I am the Crypto Crow. It is Monday. I am back. I went on a mini vacation to Arizona to witness my son to get married. And I was absolutely shocked. I never realized he was 6'7". I have a 6'7" son. Can you believe that? Very emotional weekend. Very great weekend. I got on a plane. I flew 4 hours each way, which is crazy for me. I did consume quite a bit of scotch. So for any of you scotch shareholders out there, you're welcome. But it was a really good time, and I'm glad I went. And it was just really, really cool. And my wife and I went and explored around. It's been a while since we've just yucked it up, just had fun doing nothing and just laughing at ourselves and each other. And I feel like we had, to me, in my opinion, I feel like we had one of the best times ever, just because it was just like cutting the cord of all work, of all stresses. And I don't know, it's just like when my wife and I are able to just kind of cut away all of the bullshit, all of the noise around us, we just start to flow, and we just kind of always fall into each other in really funny or fun ways. It just kind of depends. And so I'm really grateful for the weekend, and I am back to work. I came back to work. Let's try to boot up my computer. My computer wouldn't start. I was getting a CPU error, and my CPU temperature was at like 89 degrees or whatever. Couldn't figure out what was going on. Lo and behold, YouTube saved the day. Figured out it was the just a connection on the AIO commander board or whatever. It's basically the CPU cleaner or cooler. And so I got that fixed. So here I am recording a video. So let's dive into it. So if we're looking at what's happened recently, we can see Cardano. This is on a 15-minute chart, but we can see Cardano pumped all the way up to almost 26 cents, just about 26 cents, which, that's cool. But given that Bitcoin pumped, several $1,000s in the same time frame, more because of some bourgeois news from Cointelegraph. And Bitcoin pumped and dumped on false BlackRock spot ETF approval report. Basically what happened is Cointelegraph apparently put out a tweet saying that the spot Bitcoin ETF was approved, and apparently some interns or some people at the website had set some longs on Bitcoin and then basically tried to use the Cointelegraph's accounts to pump the market so that they could make some quick money. And obviously, I feel like these people should probably be fired, and maybe even more. But that's basically what happened. And that's why we ultimately saw a pump in just about everything across the board. And it's come back down and settled where it likely should have been. And, with this wick to the upside, we, of course, got the wick to the downside, down into the 24-cent range. And so, that's... I mean, we got, let's see, how high did we get at the max? Was it almost 27 cents? Yeah. So this was, 10/16. This was Monday. So yeah, about 27 cents. Not a big deal. And I've been sharing the gospel of Cardano with Uber drivers and family and different people. And, and it's like, I get into the Cardano stuff. And when we see news like this, Cardano's TVL soars to all-time peak, like 637 million ADA are in the total value locked right now. And that's all cool. But, when the price is so low, this 637 million could very easily be, I mean, think about it. When these are $5 a piece, I mean, you do the math, right? $6, $8. So that's the future. But this is confusing. Cardano's new delegation strategy struggles to impress. And I have to admit, I'm a little taken aback by this as well. And what's happening is Cardano's foundation shift towards a new delegation strategy has bubbled up concerns about welcoming centralization. So when we get into the meat of this, what they're ultimately saying is changing the way the staking nodes. Like, of course, you guys know I have the Crow node, okay? And at one point, the Crow node was getting oversaturated, which meant that the yield, the staking yield for everybody that was delegating their Cardano to the Crow node was it could go down. And so, my dev and I thought, well, why don't we just set up a spillover node? Because there are some people that, and you know what? Hold on, you're going to get a quick audio. Hold on, because I have to go back to this mode real quick. All right. So here's the gist about staking. Okay. Number one, most people in crypto know that I was pretty much like the first, if not at the very least, one of the first, probably, I don't know, 3 folks on YouTube that was a big supporter of Cardano very, very early on. Okay. And that's not me tooting my own horn, but what that's saying is I have learned about Cardano, studied Cardano. I've been a part of it. I'm building multiple applications and web platforms and different things on Cardano. I've had my staking node forever. I have it. I mean, even through the last peak, I didn't sell the 100,000 ADA that I pledged to the node. It stayed right there. We never shut the node down, and it was expensive. I mean, let's be real. I mean, it was probably costing, I don't know, like $300 or $400 a month, I think, at a time when, we're getting a little bit of a yield, and that's all fine and dandy, but it probably would have been cheaper for me to just buy Cardano, but we kept the node going. And there's going to come a day when running the Crow node is going to be very profitable. I do believe that, especially with what some of us are expecting with like midnight and things like that. So that's all fine and dandy. But for the public, there are a lot of people out there who don't want to delegate their ADA to someone they don't know anything about. And so we decided to put up a spillover node for people that still wanted to delegate with me and just feel good about it. I mean, that's really what it all boiled down to. But I was getting a lot of crap from other Cardano supporters that were launching their own nodes that were mad that I had YouTube as a vehicle to promote my node and they didn't. Okay. And so, you would see a lot of this, multi-noder and like, I don't know, I forget what the little terms were for people that ultimately operated more than one node because they looked at it as greedy, right? And, maybe to some extent that is the case. Some people are doing it out of greed or were doing it out of greed, whatever the case may be. But from my perspective, I looked at it as, there are a lot of people that want to delegate their ADA to me and because they trust me, they trust my node, they know me, they want to be a part of what I'm doing. And so we gave them the opportunity to do that. But then once the bear market started hitting and everything started to drop, well, we started to get a lot of node holders or delegators pulling off and selling. Touche, no problem at all. So we ended up closing that spillover node. We made announcements. We said move over. But now what's happening is the Cardano Foundation introduced a major overhaul of its delegation strategy. The new delegation strategy focuses on decreasing pools and increasing rewards. So it's almost like, and reading this, if I'm real honest, you guys know I love Cardano, but this almost reads like an April Fool's joke because it completely goes against everything that we've been talking about now for, years and years. The community voiced their reservations about the network turning centralized with the new strategy. So what does that mean? So right now, one of the biggest things that we talk about when it comes to Cardano is its decentralization. It's one of the most, if not the most decentralized blockchain out there. And a big part of that is because, at one point, we had over 3,000 nodes all over the world. They weren't just nodes that were all on AWS servers, right? That would have been a centralized system, okay? But nodes all over, people running them in their homes, people running them on AWS or Vulture or like just all kinds of different cloud-based platforms or not, right? That's what creates the decentralized nature of it. There's no one point of failure. It's a very secure system. And the more stake pool operators we have out there, the better the network is, okay? but it's not that profitable. I mean, let's be real. I think I split my rewards with my dev, and I maybe make 400 to 500 ADA every epoch, which to some of you are like, wow, that's insane. How could you be so greedy? It's not really about that, but I'm also spending, I don't even know how many hundreds of dollars every month just to maintain the node. Right? So, I mean, if we're working the numbers out, we're not making that much. Well, why aren't we? Well, because there was this big thing about, well, nobody wanted other people to have more than one node. And so people were getting lambasted about it, including myself, because the people that weren't able to build a strong delegation base that made setting up and running a staking node profitable, well, they were pissed at everybody who had the means to promote their nodes and not only fill up one node but then get another one and maybe another one. And like, listen, I understand. I get that, because I would feel the same way. I feel that way. I'm just being very straight up. Like, I feel that way about some big YouTube channels. When a big YouTube channel has 1.5 million subscribers and they're putting out 3, 4, 5 videos a day, making it so that my videos are likely to get recommended less, and the algorithm just gobbles up these big people and kind of keeps the rest of us down. I get a little shitty. I mean, let's call it what it is, okay? But that's also not taking into account the fact that, they are able to put out that much content because they spend the money for the teams that give them the ability to do that. I'm not. And if that's the benefit that they get, investing thousands and thousands, sometimes tens of thousands of dollars a month to have the team members that empower them to be able to put out that much content, I don't have shit to say. And the same goes with these nodes, right? I'm definitely in a line down the middle where I look at it and I think to myself, okay, I've spent a lot of years building my YouTube channel and researching and putting in the work. And if I can benefit from having more than one node, I should be able to do that without having to be, lambasted by somebody out there because they can't promote their node, or they're not doing it right, or their node gets, less than optimal performance, or whatever the case may be. Okay. But I do get it. I'm not trying to be a hater. Now, this new system that they're talking about is basically saying, what if we were to reward stake pool operators with more of a reward and encourage them to have more than one node? So basically saying the nodes that produce well and perform very well, we'd like you to have more than one. And so this brings in an idea of centralization, being that what if we just ended up with 200 or 300 companies or people that ultimately controlled all the nodes on the network? Yes, it's still decentralized, but it's not as decentralized as it wouldn't be as decentralized as it is today, because then you would ultimately have companies that can, have however many nodes that they feel they want to have, and then market those nodes and things like that. And so this tells me one of two things. Ultimately, this tells me that being a stake pool operator, one way or another, is likely about to get a lot more fruitful. And I say that because if they're looking at this now, they're trying to I believe that they're trying to plan for what is to come in the future, and the not so distant future at that. And I believe that they would prefer that the high performance nodes that have good numbers, good metrics, good marketing, good whatever, they're being operated, updated on a regular basis. Hell, I've had trouble sometimes. Sometimes I have to tell my dev, like, hey, you got to update the node. Like, there's an update out and people are having trouble. Oh, okay, I'll get right on it. And then he does it within 24 hours, and that's good. But you never really know 100% when that's happening, right? And so we've had some hiccups here and there, nothing catastrophic or anything, but it can be a pain in the butt to keep up with sometimes, because sometimes these updates also create problems, and you have to sort through the problems and yada, 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 right? So it's a pain in the butt, and it is a job. It is a job to some degree, part-time at best, but it is a job to maintain these nodes, to help maintain the network. I consider it basically an investment in something I believe in, beyond just buying some tokens and holding on to it for a couple years. Okay. But if we go back to where this is going, what this is saying, here's a brief outline of the changes of the Cardano Foundation has approved. Cardano is moving from its 3-month delegation period to an extended 12 months. The new strategy will work on reducing the number of delegated pools to amplify the rewards allocated to each. So it's basically consolidating the number of pools from, 2,000 to probably, 3 to 500. Aiming for greater inclusivity, Cardano will remove single pool requirements and allow large multi-pool operators to join the fleet. This I just don't think I like. Delegation recipients will no longer be chosen arbitrarily. The Cardano Foundation is transitioning to a more data and insights-oriented selection process. In the event of increased costs or fee hikes by pools, the Cardano Foundation commits to revoking their delegation. So basically, if we end up in a point where, companies are trying to establish some sort of dominance in the space, or, they're jacking up their fees because they have this big conglomerate of staking pools, and it's kind of like you're going to pay the piper or you're not going to stake, then Cardano Foundation is saying, okay, we're going to pool it so none of their shit works. That's probably a good idea. Pools seeking a delegation role can formally apply through application forms. I just don't like this. In addition to the changes, the Cardano Foundation has announced launching its stake pool, CAG, funded by the organization's personal assets and wallets to better understand the network's inner workings. Let me know in the comments what you guys think of this, but I'm telling you, I don't really like it. Quite frankly, I think that anybody that wants to have a fair and equitable opportunity to launch a node and build it into something, that is what creates the decentralization of the blockchain that we all love. I want to have one of these people on, and I want to question them about this. I would love to be able to have a talk with somebody about this. I don't, whether it's Charles or somebody at Cardano Foundation, I don't know, but I'm going to be straight up. I don't like it. Sell me on this. Sell me why this is good for the better of all of us. Sell me on why this is better for everyone than the way the system is structured today. Because quite honestly, man, I don't see it. I don't see it. I think anybody with the know-how and the resources to put up a node should be able to do so. Should people be lambasted for having multiple nodes? No, not necessarily. I think that the same goes true there. If you have the means of filling up a couple of nodes with delegators that trust you and are happy with what you're doing as a service, you should not be limited. You should not, they're just, it's like anything else, man. If you sell the best hamburger, everybody wants to come and eat your hamburger. You can't say, well, you're only allowed to have so many customers a day because the rest of us, we want to sell hamburgers too. That's just not how business works. So, I get it. Some people are going to have an advantage. If some big corporations come in and decide they're going to launch 5,000 nodes tomorrow based off of this system, and then the node, and then they're marketing it. Well, there's another flip side to that. What are they doing to market all these nodes? How is that bringing new people in? And I want to know what the use cases are that are coming down the pipe that merits such a dramatic change, and how that benefits everybody holding, using, and building on Cardano. Those are the questions that I want answered. So hopefully in due time, I'll get those questions answered. We're at 18 and a half minutes in. That's all I got for you guys today. Enjoy your Monday. I appreciate you. I will see you very soon. Until then, crow your coins.